you will prevail. The reason I know you'll prevail is because so many others have done it before you. The long arc of history tells us we have every reason to be hopeful. So be hopeful. There is an interesting trend I've noticed. It's very conventional for every generation to underestimate the potential of the following one. It's because they don't realize that the progress of one generation becomes the foundational premise for the next. And it takes a new set of people to come along and realize all the possibilities. I grew up without much access to technology. We didn't get our first telephone till I was 10. I didn't have regular access to a computer until I came to America for graduate school. My father spent the equivalent of a year's salary on my plane ticket to the US so I could attend Stanford. It was my first time ever on a plane. But when I eventually landed in California, things weren't as I had imagined. America was expensive. A phone call back home was more than $2 a minute, and a backpack cost the same as my dad's monthly salary in India. And for all the talk about the warm California beaches, that water was freezing cold. On top of all that, I missed my family, my friends, and my girlfriend, now my wife, back in India. A bright spot for me during this time was computing. For the first time in my life, I could use a computer whenever I wanted to. Completely blew my mind. Under television, when we finally got one, only had one channel. So imagine how awestruck I am today to be speaking to you on a platform that has millions of channels. There are probably things about technology that frustrate you and make you impatient. Don't lose that impatience. It'll create the next technology revolution and enable you to build things my generation could never dream of. The ability to ask a computer anything, anywhere. Be impatient. That's okay. It'll create the progress the world needs. The important thing is to be open-minded so that you can find what you love. For me, it was technology. The more access my family had to technology, the better our lives got. So when I graduated, I knew I wanted to do something to bring technology to as many others as possible. At the time, I thought I could achieve this by building better semiconductors. At that time, I used to read about what was happening in Silicon Valley, and I wanted to go be a part of it. And at that same moment, the internet was literally being built all around me. The year I arrived at Stanford was the same year the browser Mosaic was released, which would popularize the World Wide Web and the internet. The summer I left was the same summer that a graduate student named Sergey Brin met a prospective engineering student named Larry Page. These two moments would profoundly shape the rest of my life. But at the time, I didn't know it. It took me a while to realize that the internet would be the single best way to make technology accessible to more people. And as soon as I did, I changed course and decided to pursue my dreams at Google. So, a big part of what I focus on at any given time is, making sure we are innovating and building products for the future. So we are thinking about, things like virtual reality or augmented reality. So these are all new areas, but we've always had a very ambitious mission. We wanted to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. We feel like we are in early days of that mission. And, so for us, the journey is just getting started. I just want to make sure the next 30 years, we are still able to work on problems which really work for people on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully, at that point, serve all of humanity in a profound way. So that's where I want to be. It is a core part of at least what drew me to Google. I think the chance that we could work on products which would one day, reach everyone in the world. I didn't have access to computing growing up, and once I got access to it, it changed my life. And so I've always been interested in, this is why we work on affordable Android smartphones or Chromebooks, and being able to reach everyone, I think it's a foundational part of what we do. Inspired by the wonder that first browser created in me, I led the effort to launch